Welcome to Love and Murder. I'm your host, Ky. I'll be joined by host Char. Tonight, we go back to a popular topic, Deathbed Confessions. These confessions are terrible and horrific. I'm just going to go ahead and put a listener discretion on this whole episode. It's Deathbed Confessions Numero 2, right here on Love and Murder. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Love and Murder. I am your host, Ky, and guess who's here today? Oh my God, guess who's here?
Really, guys? Really, Ky? It's Superstar Char. There's my entrance. I'm back again.
Char is here. Oh my gosh, I know y'all have probably forgotten what her voice sounds like, but I assure you, this is Char. She is here. She is live with us today. I am excited. I hope y'all are excited.
Yeah, I hope so too. Because I mean,
she's
it's
been
all
missing
about the fans.
For I couldn't even tell you how long she's been gone.
Too long.
I got used to recording by myself. I didn't like it, but I got used to it.
Actually, okay, so if anyone has been listening to Ky's recordings, I'm sure many of you have. She's actually pretty good. I will say so myself.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
but
you're pretty good.
I don't like doing it by myself. I feel like I'm just talking to a screen and I don't like it. But anyways, this is Love and Murder. This is the podcast about, you falling in love, thinking you're going to spend the rest of your life with your significant other, and then the relationship just goes terribly wrong. And when I say terribly wrong, how wrong do I mean, Char?
Dead wrong, Ky.
Dead wrong.
Dead on arrival. Yes. Dead.
Well, not dead on arrival. They've been together for a while.
Oh. Well, I just wanted a reason to say that. DOA.
Oh, good Lord.
Thought I'd slip it in there. It didn't fit, huh? Okay.
No.
But just very dead. Just gone. You're a goner.
We got
dead
it.
as a doornail.
We got it.
Okay, I think they got the adjectives.
Yeah, we got it. So today's show is going to be a very special one. Since y'all seem to like the Deathbed Confessions, we're going to do a part 2. So
Yay!
Deathbed Confessions part 2. And we have saved the 2 best confessions for last, of course, because why would we do it first? We want you to listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, check out our podcast on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. I personally listen to my podcast on Stitcher. That's where I like it. Follow us on social media. The links are in the bio. As usual, I don't go through all that in the beginning because I know y'all just want to get into the meat of the show. If you want to hear me say our social media links, you could wait till the end when I'm going to say it. Or you could just look in the call notes below and all our social media links will be down there. If you want bonus episodes of the craziest true crime stories, relationship question and answers, relationship advice, or Char's crazy stories, you can head on over to patreon.com/love and murder and become a subscriber of $3 and above. However, we are also setting some interesting stuff up on our YouTube, so it's going to be free over there. So it's some extra bonuses on YouTube that we're about to come out with. So go ahead and go to our YouTube, which the link again is in the show notes, but it's going to be Love and Murder Podcast on YouTube. But if you can't find it, just click on the link in the show notes. That makes it so much easier. If you've listened to our show before and you like it, please go to Apple Podcasts, hit that purple button, and give us 5 stars.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
That's the magic number.
Say whatever you want in the description. Say, where is Char? Is she back for good? Is she back just for a short time? Whatever you want in the description. And just leave us 5 stars. It helps bring us up in the charts and helps other people find this podcast. So that would help us out very, very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, everybody. So anyways, we're going to get into our deathbed confession episode for tonight. It's not going to be exactly like last week's, or not last week's, but last time's, because last time was a bunch of crime-related deathbed confessions, and that doesn't happen a lot, so it's really hard to find. So, these confessions are just general deathbed confessions, general shocking deathbed confessions. It wasn't like, hey, yeah, I drank coffee before I came here. Nothing boring like that, but like...
Oh my God, no, seriously. But basically, things that are on someone's mind and the last thing they want to part with besides their last meal. Besides that, that's always interesting. That'd be fun to talk about sometime. But it's the last things that they want to get off their chest, off their heart, and that's on their mind before they croak over and join the other world, the unknown. And you'd be surprised the things that people, the expression, Ky, when you hear someone say, oh, I'm taking that he's taking that to the grave, right? That's what that means. Actually, no, it doesn't. Taking it to the grave means you're not going to give a deathbed confession, but to give a deathbed confession can relieve a lot of doubt and mystery, that could be around a scandal, throughout your life or for many years that may be family secrets, or something that could incriminate someone while they were still really with us, and it's like, hey, I'm just not going to tell the truth. So I can maybe get away with murder, so to speak. But I kind of appreciate confessions because I feel like you're doing a justice or service for humanity in a sense. Now, sometimes you can say too much and it can open up old wounds, if it's something very personal, that like, again, family secrets. But Ky, what do you think about that? Do you think it's a good idea to spill the beans before you croak over? Or do you think, just take it to the grave?
I don't know. I think if it's something that doesn't have to be said, then just leave it alone. I think if it's something that has to be said for whatever reason, then yeah, you should do it.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't think of a reason why you shouldn't say something. I can't think of a reason, but I know you'll die and, leave your family with questions, leave your family in turmoil. You could be doing that. But I think if it's something dealing with like you killed somebody, I think, yeah, you should definitely let that be known.
Maybe just let the authorities know so they can know they convicted the wrong person all these years that's been rotting in jail and they didn't do it. I mean, jeez. Thanks a lot, guy,
But the funniest one of those are the ones where people think they're going to die, so then they confess and then they don't die.
Oh, yes, I love that. Yes. I don't even know if there's a term for that, but I've seen that happen. And then sure enough, they're revived or they come up with some very rare antidote or something or cure.
My favorite was if y'all listened to last show, so the last deathbed confession, there was a guy on there who he confessed and then he survived. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I was hallucinating. Woo! So I thought that was pretty funny.
Gosh. Pretty funny.
Yeah. So I got these deathbed confessions off the internet, of course. So between just many different sites like Reddit, Quora, just different places. So I don't know if I should give the name of these people who put this out. So I don't know. I'll give their profession or what they said they did. That's what I'll do. So the first one comes from this person who says they're working as a nurse. They said, yes, patients often give confessions before they die. Sometimes they can be funny confessions and other times they can be horrible. I've heard a bit of both since I became a nurse. One night, I was sitting with a man who was in his 70s. He was dying and I felt really sorry for him, thinking to myself that he didn't deserve this. Bizarrely, no one came to see him, not even his kids. He also had a scar on his left hand where his own son had once stabbed him. What an ass.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, that night he told me that he had done many bad things in his life and started crying. He told me he'd always tried to be good but couldn't help himself. I squeezed his hand and told him I would stay with him. He then confessed to me of his guilt. He found children attractive.
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh, no, it's not over, Char. I hope you're ready. So we're just saying alert.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the disclaimer.
Just alert. So he had raped and abused his own children for years. He said he enjoyed it and still did and couldn't help the way he was. He asked if he could be forgiven. I was silent. I was stunned and didn't know what to say. He literally said all of this in a few minutes, and it was so much to take in. And then he asked me if his daughter would forgive him. I said no, she wouldn't. I now realize why this man's family didn't come to visit him. I now realize why his son had stabbed him. And I called the kid an asshole. I take that completely back.
Oh my gosh, because he had no idea. That's not his fault.
I take that completely back.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
After I answered him, he smiled and closed his eyes, and he was gone just like that. It was a horrible confession to hear, and it still creeps me out today. After he died, his belongings were to be collected by the family, but the family told the hospital they didn't want anything back. I can't say I blame them.
Of course I didn't want anything back. For what? I'm sorry, Ky. I hate to be an a-hole, but I think I would have said, burn in hell! And then allow him to just, take his last breath. And that's it.
I mean, you probably would have been fired. As a nurse, you still have to, as a medical professional, you still have to maintain some semblance of professionalism.
But are they recorded?
But I would have definitely let go of his hand. Like, I'd have just pushed his hand out of my hand. Like,
what if you?
And I probably would have
squeeze it really hard and you break a couple of fingers and
you could be sued. No, but I would have probably let go of his hand, and if you had something disgusting on your hand, you might have wiped it on your shirt.
Yeah,
I probably would have done that. Ugh.
You're so.
And
disgusting.
I know I would have had. I know my face would have said it all. I wouldn't have even had to say anything. My face, would have said it all. But this is why when people are like, oh, why aren't this old person's children visiting them? Why are people so mean to this old person? You have to remember, old people were young once.
They sure were.
There's a reason why everything is the way it is in their lives.
So true.
You can't just blame family members. You don't know how this old person was to their family members. She just case in point, she felt bad for this guy. She felt totally bad for this guy. And this guy raped his children for years and had no remorse about it.
Wow.
What an asshole.
Wow. Okay, so can I just retract? What I would have said was, I would have been down toward his ear level, right? Just like they do in the movies, and whisper, "You're dead to me now. Burn in hell." Okay, first of all, I wouldn't say to me because it's not personal.
I was about to say, I don't really think he would care what you think.
I'm not even a family member. I'm like, no one to you.
But that was really horrible what he did.
Yeah.
And if he, I don't know, if he asked me any questions, I wouldn't answer. I'm not answering. You think my daughter will forgive me? I'll just stare at him like, you already know the answer. I'm not answering you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not helping relieve your guilt. Why am I even standing here?
Right.
I'll just be like, could you move it along? I need to go get my snack.
Yeah, seriously. Or I'm almost
I think I'd say something like that. Like, he'd be like, do you think? And I'd just stare at him.
Yeah, I've got a dinner date planned, buddy. You're really running on my time. As a matter of fact, let me go a little early.
Yeah, I'd have this bored look on my face. And I'd look at my watch and just wait.
I know. Do.
Yeah, right. Take out my nail file and start filing my nails.
No, that would be really funny. Okay, and and chewing that 3-watt piece of gum really loud and just blow bubbles. Okay, any moment.
So, okay, next one. This person also was a nurse for over 6 years. So nurses get this is what they said. Nurses get a lot of deathbed confessions, and usually they're dark confessions because, let's be honest, it's easy to confess when you know your time has run out.
Oh, yeah.
In my time as a registered nurse, I've heard many deathbed confessions. The most lighthearted one came from a lady dying from cancer. Her confession was that she'd once stolen a tin of butter from the store, and she asked if she would be forgiven for that.
God bless her. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, stealing is stealing. If it's a penny, if it's a tin of butter, it's still,
yeah, that's what they say.
It's still stealing.
It's still stealing. You're right.
So then the darker confessions, this is what the person said, the darker confessions are far, far more harder to deal with. Nurses have to maintain a certain level of control and professionalism at all times, just like I was telling you, Char.
Yes, you did say that.
And with all my patients, but it can be hard to do this. One patient springs to mind, an elderly gent who was dying and in a lot of pain. Before he died, he looked at me with tears in his eyes and confessed to me, again, alert. If you have any kind of,
here we go. Yes.
what do they call it? I just want to say a sexual assault alert. Sexual assault alert. So I'm going to say that. What is wrong with people? Okay. So this is what this person said. Before he died, he looked at me with tears in his eyes and confessed to me that, okay, I feel dirty saying this. Confessed to me that he had raped his 5-year-old daughter until she eventually committed suicide.
Oh, no.
He wanted forgiveness and asked if I forgave him. I won't lie to you. I wanted to let go of his hand. I wanted to leave his side, and I lost all care and sorrow for him. I let go of his hand and looked at him. He looked back at me, and then he was gone. I'd only been a nurse for about 6 months at the time, and despite what he'd done, I felt guilty that he confessed, and I didn't forgive him. He probably didn't deserve forgiveness, but I wasn't professional for him, and I should have been.
No,
she's better than me that she felt bad that she wasn't professional to him, because he would have died looking at my face full of disgust, and I'd have yanked my hand out of his hand and just been like, and it had taken everything out of me not to punch him to death.
Oh my God. I'd have to like
5-year-old.
I would have to cough with the flugie in my hand and just wipe it on his face.
A 5-year-old. Like I can't imagine that. I can remember my daughter at 5 and her looking at me with these innocent eyes that she knew I was there just to protect her. Like she knew if I just told her walk off that table, I would catch her. She knew. You know what I'm saying? I was just there to protect her.
But don't forget, this was a lifetime for this little girl, because she eventually was old enough to take her own life, which means her entire
I know,
life.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. How could you look at your 5-year-old? How could you look at your 5-year-old and hurt them like that? Like I don't understand.
Well, I mean, it's not against her commitment as a nurse and the oath that she took. If she said, "I don't forgive you," and I mean, she's not going to be fired for that. So she kind of did say that in so many ways, right? Or maybe in her heart, she's like, "I don't forgive you," because you can say, "No, I don't forgive you." I mean, where is that written in the books, right? Page.
I would just be 12, like, I mean, I honestly, I wouldn't say anything. I just wouldn't say anything.
I'm sarcastic, so I would have said something, but yet I would still save my job. So I would think of something very creative to say that would pierce his inner soul. But at the same time, I'm still good, But
my thing is, what if he didn't die? You're thinking he's about to die. He doesn't die. He sues the brakes off of you.
He can't prove. Well, yeah, he can't prove it because they have recordings. Bummer.
I just would sit there again. Just my face would say everything, and then once I caught myself, I'd have that bored demeanor. Like, can we move this along? I gotta be places.
I mean, can't you pinch him? So no one knows.
Again, you don't know if he's definitely dying. Like, he could survive, and then there's your career.
Look, you know what I would say? I have no idea what you're talking about.
And then I know, like, if I start harming him, I'm not gonna stop.
I know, because you would just start beating the crap out of his face and beating on his chest and just picking up the scalpel or whatever kind of instruments are in the room, and a bottle of sanitizer would go in his eyes,
something. I just know if I start, it's not gonna stop, and it'll just keep going. I agree. And everybody will run in the room, and I'll just be disheveled and
then security,
and he'll be all bloody and
nurse
stuff.
Has lost her mind. Somebody come and get her.
And I'll be like, no. As they're pulling me away, I'll be like, you don't understand. He raped a 5-year-old. Let me finish.
Yeah, but you know what? But you know what? Even if the family did prosecute because he did live, you think a judge is not going to go light on you? Of course he would. He or she.
You don't know. You don't know.
No, that's true.
You have no idea.
There's a lot of variables there. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So that one was hard.
I see that this is exactly one reason I'm not a nurse. Besides that, I'm not very good with, I'm good with science, so maybe I could have been, but it's not my thing though. Nursing,
my face is not good at shutting up.
Okay.
My face.
That's the problem. That's why you didn't go into the nursing profession, because you're funny. Okay, that's... Well, I'm the same way, Kai, so I don't think I could... Well, for that reason, my face is definitely not good at shutting up. Everybody knows that, so... I would have killed it from the beginning. Like, it's just a problem. Because look at how many personalities you're dealing with. Oh my God.
Dude, I mean, I know people in the medical profession. I hear stories like, for instance, if you're a gynecologist, some women down there smell like rotten rhinoceros meat.
Yeah, the earth.
And it's like, I wouldn't be able to keep a professional face. It'd be like, I'll come in there and, she'll open her leg and I'll be like, God damn, oh my God, oh my.
You've never heard of Summer's Eve or Ogilvy? You've never heard?
I wouldn't say that. It would just be like an exclamation that I didn't get to keep. Or my eyes would be like, because most of my face would be covered, but my eyes would be like, and I'd probably recoil and I'd
like,
or something God, like that.
Excuse me. No, actually, but see, what I would do is I would sarcastically recommend the best way to keep that little yoni of yours fresh. And then I would say, so, Miss Jones, you've never heard of Ogilvy? Take a bottle with you. As a matter of fact,
right, and you'd probably be sued for that.
No. Because
they would take offense, and you would be sued.
Though, and it's my job to recommend the most sweet-smelling fragrance or system that's going to keep you non-offensive to your fellow men. Do you see what I'm saying? So, who would argue with that?
Once again, you would be sued. You need to think about what you're doing. I'm just telling you.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
But I mean, I couldn't do it. You know who I would be like if I was a doctor or a medical professional? If you've ever seen Scrubs.
I thought you were going to say House, because he is an asshole. Okay.
I would be like him too.
I know.
I would totally be like him too. He cracks me up.
And he's always a poker face. But yeah, Scrubs. Yeah, I remember. Which
Scrubs, the doctor.
The main doctor.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now, but the main doctor, how he'd be like, well, if you want to, like, I don't know, like he had one episode, he had this guy fill out a survey on him, and he was like, okay, once you've done that survey, he said, and you're done. He took his laptop from him, and he was like, now, I just want to tell you, if you want to live, he just went into this whole spiel, and I was like, that is totally me.
Dr. Ky. At your service. Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't be able to. I'd be fired so fast or just constantly sued. I couldn't. Which is also the reason I couldn't be a psychologist. I couldn't.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. So Ky, I believe I did share this. I know I shared this with you guys, with yourself and our panel on No Contact. If anyone doesn't know, there was a show before this wonderful podcast called No Contact, but it was a talk radio show, and the producer was yet our own Ky Char, yes. So here's the thing. I don't know if you recall this, but when I was 18 years old, my family owned a nursing service. My aunt that I lived with him, family owned a nurse staffing service agency or whatever you would call it. But I was only 16 and a half, candy striper, maybe 17 at the most. But my particular assignment this day was on the psychiatric ward. And my job was to just soothe the patients. Well, this particular patient was suicidal. I don't know why they had me talking with her. I don't really know. What was I supposed to do? But as a candy striper, really, you just kind of come in and kind of like do little things. Would you like some water? Can I fluff your pillow? Can I read a book to you? Things like that. And if they want to talk. But the lady started talking so stupid, so crazy about, I don't know what the crap, that literally when I was done with my shift, I received a phone call to never return to that hospital because she attempted suicide that evening after my shift. And they said it was because actually it was a young girl. I think they assigned me to. She wasn't a lady. A full mature woman. She was a young girl. But the thing is, they were like, Char, what did you say to her? And I said, well, I just said, well, maybe you don't have a lot to live for, because it sounds like to me you're just miserable. You're an absolutely miserable person. What is wrong with you? You know what? Pick your chin up off the floor. Snap out of it. I was doing that, like literally doing the clapping thing. Snap out of it. What's the matter with you? Can't you smile? Oh my God, is your life really that bad? Is it really that bad?
Oh my
I don't know.
God, Char, I can't believe you did that.
They asked me, they told my aunt, please do not send her back to this hospital. We do not want to see her again. And I said, well, what happened? I don't understand. It was hilarious. And then that's when I decided, because I did several other jobs. I did private duty. Oh, my private duty job, meaning that you go to the patient's home and like just literally live in their home or stay there for so many hours and give them their medications and, things like that. Well, no, let me tell you what happened. So I was doing this for a couple of months, right? So at this point I was 17, but that's how my ex-husband, I was going to say I didn't meet him that way. Of course, I met him at a club. I didn't meet him there. I don't know what I was going to say. Of course I did. But I was sneaking him into the patient's home through the window. But you know what's so funny about that? Listen to you. What's funny about this whole story, Ky, is they had a door. They had a door. Why was I sneaking him in through the window? But he was
maybe it's just the act of the sneaking.
I don't know. But that was,
I don't know.
But I was getting paid for this, and we would I would raid their liquor cabinet, because the lady, see, this is how, believe it or not, I blame this patient for the fact that I'm really an alcoholic to this day, because she's the one that taught me how to make drinks. She told me, you're going to need this skill one day. This is what she said. She goes, now this is scotch. Let me show you how you pour it. And this is such and such. And this, she was giving me all these particulars. I didn't know anything about it. I'm serious. And so
I'm pretty sure you're an alcoholic because of you, Char, not because of this poor woman.
No. I didn't know anything about it. She's giving me all, she's teaching me how to make these mixed drinks. So when my boyfriend at the time, who became my husband of 20 years later, not much later, but yeah, so he, we're having these drinks. Well, he doesn't really drink that way, but because we were young and stupid, we had a couple of drinks together. But we would laugh and talk and do things like that, eat up all the junk food. Yeah, I was being paid for that. So then I decided one day, I woke up and I said, self, this is not what you should be doing within your life. You're not of any service to anyone in this industry. You're not. So I can't even imagine what not full blown nurses that go to school for 4 or 5 years in RN or even an LPN or anything in nursing, any level. I can't even imagine what they have to endure, because it's not just the studies, and it's not just, prepping them for, going into a particular assignment or hospital. It's still mental, because you're dealing with people every day, all day. And then you get down to these people that are in the what is that called? It's not hospice, is it? If you're a deathbed confession can come from someone who just suddenly became very ill, and now they're going to die.
I mean, a deathbed confession can be from anywhere. They can be in a hospice. They can be in a hospital. It could be from anywhere.
It could be from anywhere, right? So you could be a nurse just, who's never dealt with this before. You could be someone like the one nurse said, she's seen it happen many times. But either way, it's just really, it takes a special person to be able to listen to these stories and to not judge them, or at least not outwardly judge them. You have to have a lot of restraint, like you were saying.
I have restraint in certain situations, which is very little situations, and for the most part, I don't. Especially, like I said, my face. My face hasn't learned restraint at all. So, I don't know.
That's terrible. That's really terrible. After the story I told you, I mean, what could be so bad,
I wouldn't say that to somebody. Like I said, I could be thinking it. Maybe my face is showing it, but I wouldn't say that to somebody.
Right. Well, you know what? In my defense, I was just an immature kid. I was only 17. I mean, I could have just turned 17. I was just stupid. So you learn as you get older, you mature.
Well, at that age, I was pretty asshole-ish. I really was.
Oh my god.
Because I remember in college, I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
In the beginning of college. And I remember my friend reminded me of this. I forgot about this.
Oh.
Apparently these 3 sisters came into the room, and I think I knew like 2 of them, and I had just met the other one. And apparently we were all chilling together, and apparently I just kept staring at the 3 sisters. And then finally I was like, I have a question. And they were like, yeah, we can answer your question. And I was like, are y'all all from the same father?
Oh my gosh.
And they were like, yeah. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, well, how come they're pretty and you're ugly?
Oh my, no.
I honestly,
Ky, that's
I know
sad.
I wouldn't, I can't remember it, but I know I wouldn't have meant it in an asshole way. I was really just curious, of how they look so different. And how these 2 are like gorgeous and you look like a foot. And I was really just probably curious. But of course, now that I have, sense and, somewhat people smarts, I guess, I understand that's like, even though I meant it one way, it sounds, and I feel really bad for that girl. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just looked at her ugly self in my, just
but my
thought about it in my head.
But what if to this day she still needs psychiatric counseling?
Yeah, because of me, right?
One incident.
What an asshole.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, you know what? She and my girl, okay, are together in a room crying like, why? They ruined our lives. Oh, these very inconsiderate young people.
Yeah. If you're listening, I apologize.
Me too.
I shouldn't have said anything. I mean, it was possibly true. I don't know because I can't remember.
Possibly, listeners, very possibly.
But I can't even say it was true because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what I think is beautiful might not be what somebody else thinks is beautiful.
No, it's behold, you're ugly. That's what it's.
So, like I said, I apologize if you're listening by some freak of nature to this show.
Right.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have thought anything, and I should have controlled my mind and my mouth. So.
Okay,
if you're on drugs or alcohol, or if you got plastic surgery, I do apologize for that.
She's definitely apologizing, and please accept it. And so am I. And there you go. I'm apologizing as well. And I hope to this day, lady, young lady at the time, that you are still alive.
Your girl's dead. Your girl's dead. She already killed herself. You're such an asshole.
Not to mention, not only was I an asshole, but it was so many years ago that she could have had God, anything could have happened to her. She could have had a pickled liver or leukemia, anything, because over the years,
I really hope she's fine. I really hope she got proper help, not Char help. And I really hope she's fine. And Char's sorry for her idiotic mouth as well.
Well, you know what's really funny is I became a professional advice columnist for years, okay, for different various magazines, many years later. And I was pretty good at it. I'm still good at it if anyone still wants advice. But the funny thing is, I got better. We don't want your advice. I got better, but it was because the thing is, I had to answer questions on almost any topic. One of the magazines was just specifically relationships, and then the other column was any topic. So, it's I don't know. I think I just learned something from that experience, and I got better at how I handle the human psyche, like how people think. I think I had more compassion as the years go by. That's what happened. So
I have more compassion, and I learned to shut up more. I just keep my thoughts to myself. Because even if what I'm saying is true, for instance, you're a whore, stop being a whore. Not you. I'm just saying, the person would be a whore. Stop being a whore.
What?
You probably have, your father wasn't around or whatever. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not saying this to you. I'm saying this in general. And your father wasn't around. You need to control yourself. You don't have to let his problems or the reason why he wasn't around affect your life. Even though that might be correct for somebody, people don't want to hear the truth.
It hurts too much.
And you're often seen as the bad guy, even if you're really trying to help the person and trying to get them to see why they're doing something and how they can take the steps to stop being this version of themselves. then you're still labeled as a bad guy because they don't want to hear it. They don't care. They want to stay in the situation they're in. So I learned throughout the years to just shut up and not care. And that's what I do.
And there you go, listeners. That's our best advice on this subject.
Yeah. Just shut up and mind your business. You have your own stuff to worry about.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're talking about Deathbed Confessions here.
Believe it or not, that's what we're talking about. Let's reel it on in, Ky. Let's reel it back in because we're out there.
Next one. I don't know what this person worked as because they just signed it as anonymous. Or how do you say anonymous, Char?
Anonymous.
She says anonymous. She says anonymous. She's older than me, people. Anyways, so
I'm older
anonymous.
than most people, I think now. But yeah,
this person,
I don't know. Mm-hmm.
This person wrote, long ago, I worked in home health, had a gentleman in his late 90s. He was dying from lung cancer. On what turned out to be my last visit, he asked to sit and talk for a few minutes. He said, when I was 12 years old, I lived with my family in Mississippi. One night, my father told me a young black, his words, not mine, had grabbed my older sister in a bad way. He took me to a very rural area, had me get out of the truck, and showed me the dead body. He then handed me a shovel and made me help him dig a big hole for the body. Oh my
God, this is true.
He never told me how he had killed him or anything and swore me to secrecy. I've asked God for forgiveness, but this is what he said. I guess I'm going to hell. That's what he said. And then he continues, I was pretty stunned and didn't actually know what to say, so I said I would say a prayer for him and the young victim. I called a friend who was a policeman and asked him who I could report this to. He said he would check it out and call me back. However, I was notified the next morning the patient had died. So when I talked to my friend again, he said, just drop it. It happened over 80 years ago and he's dead. Still, I think about this every so often.
Who told him he was going to go to hell? He wasn't an accomplice. I'm really lost. He wasn't an accomplice.
Okay.
He didn't commit the murder.
So he said this guy who was in his 90s said when he was 12, his dad had killed a black guy.
Got that part.
And he grabbed his 12-year-old son and said, dig this hole and help me hide the body.
Got that.
So that is an accomplice, actually.
Oh, it sure is. Because but he kind of probably made him feel like he had to do it. I mean, I don't know. A lot of times you feel
that's
pressure
still considered an accomplice in the law because you didn't come around and say something. Mm-hmm. So then the guy, when he was 12, even though he's 90 now, he asked God for forgiveness. And then he said of himself, he guesses he's going to hell.
Well, I mean, hopefully he felt better that he was able to get that off his chest, you know? Because
I wonder if he was really sympathetic towards black people after that. That'd be funny if he grew up to be just racist.
No. But
those blacks.
But for some, yeah. But for some, I refrained from something that I was going to say. But for some reason, we're not doing that on this show. I just feel, I don't know. I don't know this man. Obviously, he's no longer with us. But for some reason, I'm feeling in my heart that he grew up to be very compassionate towards others, especially towards blacks or people of other ethnicities, because of the fact that he was never able to share this with anyone and get forgiveness, apologize, or even turn himself in. So I think that it was his own prison for the rest of his entire life. If you're 12 and you're in your 80s when you die, or 90, that's a long time to hold that burden. Yeah. So I'm not going to beg for forgiveness at this point. You know why? Because I've been punished my entire life with knowing that I have to carry this around.
My thing is, as soon as I was away from my father, I'm telling. I'm out the house. I'm 18. I'm telling.
Mm-hmm. Unless your father had a hold over you emotionally and mentally, and you were terrified to upset him, disappoint him, or turn on him.
I could understand as a child, which is the excuse you could make to the cops as to why you didn't tell, because you lived in your parents' house, blah, blah, blah. But once I'm 18 and I'm out, he has no longer a hold over me or anything like that. I'm telling. Well, I'm singing like a bird.
See, a mental hold and emotional hold can go on for a lifetime. So just because you're out the house does not mean that. But do you remember that I was born in that very racist state? That's where I was born.
Oh,
And most of my family was raised there. Well, my mom's family was, part of my dad's family. But yeah, Mississippi. So when you started the story out, I was like, oh God, I know this is going to go in a racist direction, because that was during the lynching days. Probably they did that forever, so it's like really scary. Whew, and there's still a lot of people that believe in that to this day. So maybe he could have made a difference if he had said something. You see, sometimes it helps to tell someone. It helps to talk about it. When you hold things in, you can stop people from, you can actually help people to heal or even pass laws and things like that if you can just share your experiences. But if you take them to your grave, who are you helping?
I hear you. I don't think any laws were passed, especially since he was like, oh, chap's dead. Let's just move on.
No, that's my whole point.
They didn't even look for the body.
But that's my whole point.
He was like, I don't want to do that paperwork.
No, he tried. He made his one little attempt, and then the person unfortunately passed the next day. What I'm saying, Ky, is for those out there in the world who are brave enough to push through it, there are laws that are passed that make a difference in our history because they said something. So when you don't say anything else, you just give up because, okay, the person died. You could still tell the story, and it would change history today with that situation. Because right now, those laws haven't been there are no real lynching laws anymore, or even beating up a person that's black for no reason in Mississippi. And usually you can cover it up. So taking things to your grave, whether it's a racist situation or whether it's something else, you could really change history, change the world, and change your own life for the better if you would say something. I don't understand the point of waiting until it's almost selfish in a way. Well, I'm going to die, so I guess I'll just let this out. That's the whole
point. It's very selfish to then have a deathbed confession. Yeah. Because you're dying. Right. And you feel like you need to get this, like some people just need to feel like they get it off their chest. Mm-hmm. Some people feel like, I don't know, I'm going to leave on a hurrah. Like, I lived my life like this. I'm going to make y'all think about me like this. Yeah. And some people, do it, and I won't call this selfish, but they do it to repent. You know what I'm saying? Before they died. Right. So, anyways, next one. This person had 27 years in the healthcare system. They wrote, one of my residents admitted to running over, One of my residents admitted to running over 2 kids with her car. Ooh. One died. She said that these kids were on bikes in the street. She blew the horn and they would not move. She then said that she just ran over them. She said she was never caught. At first we didn't believe her, but she repeated this story word for word, and each time she told it. We believed her, and she died a few days later. She had been a mean woman when she was younger and was very cantankerous in her old age. We all really liked her, though. It was a shame she had to take this secret to her grave. She didn't take the secret to her grave. What are you talking about? She told y'all the secret.
And how can you like someone who's
I was about to say, and once you found that out, she literally just, because kids were riding their bike in their street, she was like, you know what, you stupid kids, and ran them over and killed one of them. How could you like her?
People for no one to say anything. I'm trying to figure out what kind of town this is. It's a town that never speaks.
I could like her up until I actually found out that she did that. Then I'd be like, oh, snap.
I'm definitely not inviting you over for apple pie. I'm not.
Well, she was dying anyway, so.
Well, no, I meant before that. Like, if you were my neighbor, that's not going to happen.
But I don't understand that. How crazy and uncaring are you that you just ran over some children?
And didn't
I can get crazy mad, but I will never run over a child. I'd have probably gotten out of my car and physically picked them up and threw them on the sidewalk and then sped off. I could see that if I was just really out of my mind.
And then call but if it was as you're going down the road and I'm not.
If it was I was really they just wouldn't move and I was really out of my mind mad. Yeah. That's as far as I would go. Yeah. If I was really, really mad.
Because I can see many people wanting to get away with the hit and run. I can definitely see that happening. But children,
would never run over children.
Oh my God. Oh my God! And then the one child lived, But
one lived and one died, and she seemed like she didn't even it didn't even bother her.
No, but what I'm saying is the child that lived could have been her neighbor. She could watch that child play its whole life and he or she's whole life and grow up, and you didn't say anything. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy. Like, that's just weird.
That kid was probably terrified of her.
Of course.
And that kid probably has psychological issues to this day.
Well, how is it that the kid never said anything as the kid got older?
Again, that's what I said. The kid was probably afraid of her, thinking that the old woman was going to come back for her or something.
And run her over at midnight when no one's around to help.
Something.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just so crazy.
All right, so this one comes from Anonymous. This person writes, they said it was anonymous for obvious reasons. I once had an elderly male, terminally ill patient who told me that he killed his wife around 30-something years ago because she admitted to aborting his baby in the late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, wow, that was a long time ago.
Wow. Oh, obviously, I informed the lead nurse who made the decisions to contact the police. They came in, took our statements, and took the patient's statement, but it didn't go much further because the patient died within 24 hours of confession, and there were no living relatives they could find.
Of course not. He was super old. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That person just... Let's see, you know what's so sad about it is that woman that was murdered, she didn't get justice her entire rest of her life. Oh my gosh, she was dead. But she didn't get justice. Isn't that something?
Well, I mean, yeah, she was dead. And he had no relatives.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe he just told her relatives that, or maybe she didn't have relatives herself. Maybe that's why it was so easy.
No, but that's not what I mean. This is what I mean. Okay, so if you're married, you can just blame it on an accident and you can still live and die and no one says anything. But what if, oh my God, I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know. I think I'm reading too much into it.
I really wanted to hear the end of this because I can't even imagine where you were going with this. I'm wondering the end. What if what?
Oh, that's perfect, isn't it? Just what if?
Oh, good Lord. Okay. All right. Next person. This person writes, mother ran a nursing home growing up. From ages 5 to 10, I spent nearly every weekend with residents. Because I was a kid, residents often confessed stuff they thought I wouldn't understand. To stick out, one funny, one not. Oh, two stick out, sorry. Two stick out, one funny, one not. Woman was dying, maybe about 96 years old. Even had her last burst of energy or life where she thought she was better. And she said this, they said this is common. They write, a black delivery man came with some flowers. After he left, she looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, I can't believe I'm dying without having been with a colored man. Oh my God.
No, was that on the bucket list, lady? I thought going to Bora Bora was on the bucket list. Okay, that's a little different. Okay.
That's so bizarre.
I've been with a black man. Yeah, she definitely missed out, Kai. I don't know. What do you think?
I was like, that's like me dying, being like, I'm sorry, I've never been with a guy from India. Like, what?
Oh, wow.
Anyway, they write that the second one was second one was while I was reading Bible verses to a resident. Oh, shoot. The person said, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to drop that baby in the well.
No. Oh my God. So it sounds like an accident happened and then this person covered it up for all those years.
How do you think she accidentally dropped the baby in the well? Are you freaking kidding me right now?
I don't know, because how does a baby end up hovering over a well in the first place?
It wasn't an accident, you idiot. She probably had a baby. You know, back in the day, they did not look kindly on single mothers.
Oh, yes. And that's a good way to get rid of any, even a full body. You can throw it in a well. Oh, no. And she knew no one would miss the baby. Once she got
it was her baby, then people probably didn't even know she was pregnant.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you can, how some people can hide the pregnancy. So, but like if you can,
evil monster, that baby drowned.
The baby in the well. Oh,
that baby drowned and you went on to live your freaking life.
And just moved on. Probably had 10 kids after that, you know? That's what they do. Yeah. Oh my God, it's crazy.
I don't even have words for that. I just don't even have words for that.
I know. Because, see, people forget. Babies are, they're humans. They feel pain. They feel the same pain we do, especially when they're out here. How would a person forget that?
They cry as soon as they come out.
No, people, you know how many people act like a baby is just, like it does, because it can't express itself. I guess it doesn't feel pain the same. It's just like whatever.
If that's true, then people are morons.
No kidding. No kidding.
I know I had a friend once, and she got pregnant, and she was so excited to have her baby. And then after she had the baby, she was so stressed out. And one day I asked her, what did you think this was? You thought you were going to have a Barbie? And she literally, she answered me deadpan face. Yes. She thought it was just going to be like a doll. Like
dress up game.
And I was like, oh my God, how stupid are you? And I never had a kid. I was young. I was in my 20s. She was older than me. Mm-hmm. I was like, who thinks you just have a baby and it's going to be like a doll?
Many people, many souls out there. Mm-hmm.
Again, like I said, this is why I just shut up. I don't say anything to people because I don't have it.
I control the hole in my face, okay?
All right, next one. And again, this one actually writes sexual assault. So just beware. All right. Do I really want to read this, Char?
I don't know.
I think I'm going to have a bar of chocolate after this show because these confessions are stressing me out.
They are pretty crazy.
All right. This one says, I had recently been adopted by a rich family. They had a biological son, but he never visited. My adoptive father told me that the son had tried to kill him before. I was shocked. Fast forward a year later, and the father's in the hospital. He recently suffered an undisclosed accident, and the only people with him were me and my adoptive mother. The mother asks why the son hasn't come, and my father starts to tell her why. Turns out he had been raping the son since he was 5. The mother was shocked and ran out crying. I witnessed the entire conversation. The father died 91 minutes later.
Oh my God. Reminds me of the other one, except there's some witnesses there.
My thing is, how would you feel that you were adopted by these people? You're freaking happy somebody finally adopted you. And you feel lucky as crap that you were adopted into a rich family. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And apparently he didn't touch this one. So he's just feeling like he's loved and, you know, and he's probably looking at the son as like, oh my God, you're ungrateful. You know, your parents are here. They love you so much. Your mom's crying. You know, they adopted me, you know. And to find out on the dad's deathbed that he raped his son and it was all his fault.
Wow.
How would you feel as an adoptive child?
Yeah, that's pretty scummy.
At least it's good to know that the mother had nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So you still have the mom to lean on. But I don't even know if I would waste spit on this guy's grave. I don't know. I don't know. Oh my God. Okay, next one. I'm telling you, Char, I'm going to sit down with some chocolate after this because I don't drink alcohol. Chocolate.
No, she doesn't, everyone. Just that's a disclaimer, too, by the way. Ky does not drink under the influence of anything other than... Do you drink sparkling water? Because I told you a story about one of our house guests.
Sparkling water is disgusting. I'll just drink water.
Why? Tell me why is it Perrier? Is that one of them? Or Perino?
I don't know.
Okay, but why? Why do you not drink sparkling water?
It's disgusting. I might as well just drink soda. Or if I want water, I'll drink water.
Or the sparkle that bugs the crap out of you, or is it just...
I don't know. It just doesn't taste good. I don't like it.
Really? What if it's cold? You don't think it's crisp and refreshing?
I can get water from the fridge that is crisp and refreshing.
Why do you sound like an a-hole? Like, this is so impossible talking to you sometimes.
I'm just telling you. I'm answering you.
Yeah,
there's nothing remarkable about sparkling water. Like... I'll get a soda if I want carbonation. And if I want water, I'll just get water.
Well, you know what was funny is when I was telling, so okay, for all our fans and listeners, so I was telling Ky that we had visitors in town today or for the next couple of days, but the particular, I would say one of our, well, not the main guests, but the lady guest, she says she eats very unusual and she's very particular about what she eats because of a health condition. But I said, well, what do you consider like a really delicious, refreshing, beverage with a really good meal? And I'm thinking she's going to say like, I don't know, like maybe some really cold lemonade or maybe a nice iced tea or a fruit punch or something, or maybe a mango, pineapple juice. She says, oh, if I can just have some sparkling water, that's a very special treat for me. I would really love that. That's why
if I could just have like this slice of lemon in my water, special treat. I drink nice that only once a year.
Well, I said, Ky, I don't think she gets out much because she really thought that was a special treat. Like what? It's okay. We're not going to say just water because there's so many countries and so many people, and even in the United States, that don't have fresh, clean, delicious, healthy water to drink. But just so you guys know, don't send Ky bottles of Perrier, whatever it's called, or any kind of sparkling water because she doesn't find it to be fascinating, whether it's flavored or not.
First of all, don't send me shit because I don't trust people.
Oh, God.
I'm not eating anything you sent me in the first place. You could have poisoned it.
And it's not even about
what kind
COVID.
of show I do.
It's more like you just never trust. It's not even about COVID. It's not about the virus. It's like you just really don't trust people.
I don't trust people. Look at the kind of show I do, Love and Murder. No,
so true.
I don't trust people. Even if it's closed and it's completely sealed, I'd be like, no, they could have resealed it. They could have injected it. No, I won't eat it. I'll be like, oh, thank you. And I'll look like I'm very thankful. And then I'll throw it in the trash after you turn. Yep.
It's sunrise to sunset. It goes to sunset. Do you know, yesterday I went to the deli of a really nice grocery store. After I left their Mediterranean bar, I love the olive bars. It's like my favorite thing ever. But I decided to get some samples. And see, I had a flashback of normal times when we could do that. So I asked for a sample of a Mediterranean pasta salad, and the lady goes, "Are you kidding me?" She goes, "You can't trust people these days."
Have you seen these people? They cough on the stuff, or we're supposed to trust them that they got vaccinated.
Yeah, that's what she said. She goes, oh no, honey. She goes, you can't trust people. I could cough on this. I said, okay. She was giving me all these explanations.
I was at this one place.
I'm so not hungry now.
I was at this one place, Char, and the woman was wearing a mask, and she needed to sneeze. So she turned around, took off her mask, and sneezed, and put her mask back on.
Oh, into the mask. Ooh.
No, she took off her mask. She pulled it down, sneezed, and then put it back on. And I was like, what type of sense?
Sprayed the germs in the air and then protected herself again. Got it.
Oh, good Lord.
That's hilarious. But yeah,
and you want to eat samples?
I did. It's weird, right? Ugh. Well, she turned me off. Don't worry about it. I'm so not interested anymore.
Even before COVID, I didn't eat samples.
Well, do you ever go to Costco? I mean, I don't know if you ever remember Costco.
I've been to Costco, but I don't.
Costco
I walk right past those samples.
I don't believe it. They're too enticing, and they start early in the morning, especially on the weekends.
It's not enticing at all to me. I think about all the people that have sneezed, cough, kids.
Oh,
have you seen kids? They don't cover their mouth.
Well, you know what's funny is I remember because I was a sample lady. That was one of my jobs for years. I actually was asked to manage an agency like that. I even went to Mexico doing samples. Can you believe it? I went to all kinds of different places because I was really good, like really, really good at it, like a manager, director, and everything. But here's the thing. Do you know that they leave it out? Like our job was to put out as many as you could with the toothpicks or on the little plates, so that you can always have plenty available because people come and take them so quickly. So imagine when they're sitting out like that. Anyone can just walk right past. If I go to my break and you can just walk past and just do a quick
sick people who would have just licked it and put it back.
And put it back.
Like I said.
Oh my gosh.
Not I, said Ky. Mm-mm. Anyways, next one. This person writes, when I was an undergrad, I lived in a house off campus. One day, the police showed up, said they got a deathbed confession from the person who formerly lived there. Turns out he had killed his gay lover for cheating on him and then buried him in our basement and built a fake wall to seal off the room.
No way. Just like in the movies.
It was
wow.
all true, and they even had an archaeology student come and uncover the body. Wow.
Oh, yay for the archaeology student. You know, that's
But
my
can
favorite
you
study.
imagine you've been sleeping near a dead person this whole time?
Yeah. I wonder what that scent was in the room that was just so strong and compelling. Yeah.
Compelling? Did you just say compelling to describe a dead body?
No, I said the scent. I said I wondered what the scent was
I
in the room.
understand that. Have you ever smelled like rotting meat? That's compelling to you? That's the adjective you would use?
Yeah, why not? Do you know what compelling if you think about the
compelling
definition,
means that you want to go to it. It's more repelling because you want to get away from it.
Okay, so no. Not if you're a curious mind like me. It's evoking interest. I'm curious.
Oh, you're the type of person that the house says come in and you say, Bob, is that you? And you go into the house? You're that type of
and then
person?
I go up the stairs. You know, they always go up the stairs.
Okay.
But Bob, are you there? Bob, you know. No, but the thing is, but think about it. Compelling is something that's powerfully irresistible and evoking. It's powerfully
I don't think
irresistible.
rotting meat is powerfully irresistible to me.
No, not. I didn't say in a good way or soothing way. It's just to where I'm so curious. I need to know what that is. And the next thing you know, I'm like climbing the walls and then I'm poking holes in the walls and I'm knocking the wall down. That's me.
If I smell rot behind my walls, I don't care if it's a freaking rat or something. I'm not doing it.
Well,
I'm not that curious. I'm calling somebody.
Check it out. Yeah, but you're still compelled to get help, to get assistance, Kai. It's the same difference.
I guess. And if it's Chucky behind there, the person I called for help, they'll get killed, not me. So cool.
I know, you're running. Yeah. And
All
then
right.
I go up the stairs while you're running out.
All right. So now we are on the last two, which are the best ones. And they are actual
always
crime-related deathbed
Yay,
confessions.
We're back to the topic of our show, love and murder. I don't know who makes murder sound so exciting. We truly apologize, but guys, you know what? Life is already so sad and depressing in so many ways. So when you come to our show, yes, it's sad and depressing what's happened, but we still try to give you guys a little lighthearted moment, you know, that you can kind of take away from and say, this really made my day. It was creepy, but it made my day. I hope they can really concur when they, you know, in the comments. Oh God, I hope so. All right, guys, leave comments and let us know if we're crazy or compelling.
Okay.
Crazy or
Anyways,
compelling. CNC?
before I get into these last two, definitely comment below if you have or know of any crazy deathbed confessions that you'd like to hear on the show, or we could actually share it in our Facebook fan page group, which is Love and Murder fan page. Just search that on Facebook.
And we're 3,000 strong today, so, or maybe more. But yeah, there's quite a few people in there. Lots of members, so to become a member and just share. Share your story, share the the questions, and it's really interesting. So yeah, it's kind of let's do that.
Sometimes y'all I'm talking to you, the listeners. I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you. Sometimes if you ever notice, I just don't say anything and I just see how long Char will keep going. I really think she's like uncomfortable with silence. Because she'll just keep saying random things here and there if you just let her talk. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but I've noticed it. I think it's hilarious, personally. Tell me how you feel in the comments below.
Okay, see, that was extra, though. You actually extended your PSA there. So that means that you're just extending. So you're just talking more like what I just did. What's the difference? I literally just gave a PSA. It was the same difference.
Not even a little bit.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Okay. No, okay. We'll go with that then. All right. Next one. This is a story about Henry Alexander. Well, let me say this. This is a story about Henry Alexander and Willie Edwards Jr. So one day, Willie Edwards Jr. went missing. And they just saw that this guy, Willie Edwards Jr., had jumped to his death off a bridge in North Montgomery County, and this had happened on January 23rd, 1957. So, it's a black man. It looks like suicide because he just jumped off a bridge. There was no foul play, so nobody knew what happened. So, fast forward some years, and this guy, Henry Alexander, he had lung cancer. So, he's on his deathbed. He's about to die and everything like that. And he decided to go out with a bang, a deathbed confession. What happened to Willie Edwards Jr.? Like I said, it looked like he committed suicide and everything like that. There were nobody had beat him. You couldn't see any beating marks on him. You couldn't see any bruises. You couldn't see any rope burns on him. There was no gunshots, nothing. So, what happened was on that night of January 23rd, 1957, in North Montgomery County, Alabama, Henry Alexander and a bunch of his friends took Willie Edwards Jr. and they took him to this bridge and basically pulled a gun on him and gave him a choice.
Oh my
gosh. It was either you jump to your death or we shoot you with this gun. And I forgot to mention that these people were members of the KKK.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Klan. Yep. So, I guess the guy fought for a little while. Like he didn't, not physically fighting because again, they didn't find bruises on him or anything like that. But, he didn't just say, well, okay, I'll just jump off this bridge. But they kind of coerced him, forced him, kept saying, probably cocked a gun. And so he jumped off the bridge.
Oh, they coerced him to do it. That's terrible.
Yeah. And after he jumped off the bridge, they didn't even find his body until 3 months later. So his family was just wondering where he was. So Henry, he was actually the ringleader of this group. He was the one who started it. He was the one who, riled up the other guys. And his wife, who didn't know this had happened, said that he actually told her as he was dying that the guy, William Edwards Jr., he didn't do anything. They just were bored that day. He didn't do anything. So her husband said, quote, "That man never hurt anybody. I was just running my mouth. I caused it." And, yeah, that's it. He just chose a black dude and decided I was going to kill him today. That was it. So,
oh my God.
So it's not like, people at least try to say, well, he pinched a white woman's butt. Nothing like that happened. He just found a black guy and was like, we're going to kill this guy. And he also,
just random.
He also said that, I think earlier in his life, he said that he didn't know the guy was going to jump. He's like, well, who's going to jump? He thought he was going to run. And if he had ran, he wouldn't have done anything to him, which I don't believe that. But anyway,
I don't believe that. I think he would have chased him down.
I think they would have chased him down. I think it would have gotten physical after that.
And they would have found pleasure in that alone just because it's a challenge now. It was too easy the other way. But gosh, try to fight for your lives. I mean, who does that? Just fight while you can, if you can, and you're not always in a position where you can. But you know what I mean? Or unless it doesn't matter. There are people who are looking to die. Don't forget that, Ky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but that's what he said, and this is what he did, and he had lied to the other guys. Okay, so he had lied to the other guys saying that this guy made a pass at a white woman, so the other guys got mad, which is, anyway, that doesn't make sense to me. But
right,
you would think that he sounded remorseful about this, which probably in his 90s or however old he was, he did sound remorseful about that, but he had actually been arrested before for a bunch of other race-related crimes, which included the 1964 church bombing in Montgomery. So, apparently...
Oh, really? That was definitely historical.
Yeah, yes, apparently he wasn't really remorseful about hurting black people. Maybe it was just that one that really stuck to him. I don't know why. I have no idea. But, yeah... So that's what happened to Willie Edwards Jr., Henry Alexander, and his gang of KKK members. Basically forced him to jump off a bridge, and nobody found it out.
That's a shame.
Yep, nobody found it out until decades later when, Henry decided to confess. And also confessed that the dude had done nothing at all. just like the woman who's still alive and free and happy and living with her family, just confessed that she lied about Emmett Till.
What?
You didn't know that?
I don't know if I do know that.
Yeah, she came out in like I can't remember, a couple years ago, and she was like 80. So it was around the time Bill Cosby was being indicted.
Yes. I was going to say, I remember definitely that name in the headlines. And
yeah, she came out and she said, I lied about Emmett Till. He didn't he didn't whistle at me or anything like that. And everybody was like, oh, that poor old woman.
The whole Me Too movement, right?
Yeah, whatever. Or something. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it because this isn't the show about it. So
that's a whole other show. This is Deathbed
show.
Confessions. Let's just remind everyone. We're going to wrap it up, though, with our last confession. And I hope this is the drum roll. Drum roll, please.
Well, this is a famous one. People have probably heard of this one. So the date is July 27th, 1981. Adam Walsh, who was 6 years old, disappeared from a Sears department store. So, yes.
Oh, my gosh. I won't say it.
You already knew.
Because it's something, can you give them a hint? It's something that a lot of us have followed for about 22 years. Maybe 25.
So, little Adam
is something that on
out with
television.
His mom shopping at Sears. Mm-hmm. And, as mothers do, we turn our eyes for a second, just to look at this, gauge, will this underwear look right on me? Will these pants fit my husband? Whatever.
Right.
So she let him out of her sights for just a second, and she never saw him again. They searched and searched and searched for little Adam, and they finally found his head in a canal over 100 miles away from Hollywood, Florida, where they were. But they never found his body. They just found the head. Now...
Oh, that is different. I don't remember the ending there. I just thought I recognized this for sure. But goodness, and he was only 6 years old. That's a shame. Oh, my God.
Now, this led to his father, John Walsh, trying to find other missing children. And he became the host of America's Most Wanted. And even while he was the host of America's Most Wanted, he kept searching for the person who did this to his child. Yeah.
Right. Any clues?
Yeah.
After all these years. Because he gets clues. Don't his clues come in from all around the world, Ky? They have like a call-in line or a call center, a toll-free number. And they look, every week people call in. Well, see, I don't think this is still in operation or in... I don't think so. But for a long time, though, and unfortunately, but he solved many murders.
Yeah, he did.
Hundreds?
But he was
never able to find about
he was never able to do it for his son.
That to me just really bothered me. Yeah, I couldn't.
Were several suspects, and one of those suspects was Otis Toole. However, the investigation into him was botched, and I didn't research how it was botched, but it was botched, so they couldn't really, arrest him because they didn't have enough evidence. Toole had actually been linked with another killer whose name was Henry Lee Lucas, and over the years, both men confessed to a lot of just grim stuff that they did over the year.
There were some grim
murders,
right?
But they never came out and said Adam Walsh. They never came out and did that.
Oh, but someone did this. So, Ky, just a little bit more of a specific regarding how this happened. When the little boy was in the department store, there was a basement, and I don't know if they did stalking down there, because maybe, but there was a basement with a stairway. So the little boy wandered off and somehow went down the stairs, like the door. I don't know if the door was ajar. He went down the stairs, and that's what happened. Someone was down there, and I don't know if that person lured him down there, but that's how he got lost in the department store. Because, when you're, generally speaking, if you're in a Walmart or a Sears, a Target or something, you feel pretty safe because there's bright lights everywhere. Am I right? There's colorful displays. There's Oh, okay. Well, okay. But but think about what I'm saying. You don't think about a dark, dingy, dusty basement, even if it was for stalking. But see, this is back in the 80s, though. But these days, when we leave our kids, see, this is what makes it worse. Because these days when we go to Walmart or one of those department stores or even Sears, but Sears is going, kind of just fading out. But what I'm saying is you still feel safe. Because if you go try on your clothes as a mom, you should be taking your clothes inside. But if you're looking over at the housewares and your son was just next to you looking at teddy bears, it's easy to wander off and not realize, oh, where's little Jason? Because these days everything's a lot brighter. I can't relate to that
because my daughter, she stayed with me. I would always be watching her. So
me too.
I can't relate to that.
Yeah.
If I go into the dressing room, she comes into the dressing room. When she was little, if I went into the bathroom, I went into the handicap bathroom and she came in with me and she just faced the door or something. She just didn't look at me. No, I can't relate to that. No.
I mean, okay, you know what? I do get that, but I will tell you this. One time, I don't know. Okay, so just for our listeners who are as old as me, there was a group called New Kids on the Block. It was a pop group.
Everybody knows who New
Kids on the Block. Well, I'm just saying. It was back in my day, so I don't know if it was like so old that I don't know. But okay, so oh God, no, she did not give us a little bit of it. The right stuff. So we went to the mall because this could happen at the mall. What happened unfortunately with Wash's child, but so I remember we were at the mall. My husband and I were at the mall, and my son. So we went into this store. This sells hats. It's called Claire's, actually. Claire's Accessories. They have it at a lot of malls, but it's basically accessories, hats, jewelry, and things like that. But I could not find him. I don't know how I slipped. But do you know what he did, though? During the course of the time I'm looking for this little kid, he was only about 6, same age. But he actually put one of the hats on, the New Kids on the Block hat. And I didn't notice it. So we left. I finally found him and I'm like, where were you? Don't you ever leave me? Because usually he's with me, but when it's his dad too, his dad could be the one that slips, and maybe his dad walked off to go look at a record or something when they had actual records back then. But I noticed that he stole the hat. And there were people, oh, they went that way, go get them, as if I'm an accomplice, So my point is, they let him keep the hat after they realized it was just a little kid, little 6-year-old. They're like, oh, he can have it. But it's easy people in this world are so untrustworthy. Yes, there are good people. Don't think that listening to the show means that we don't believe in good people. We do. But you have to be very careful. You have to keep your eyes open. You have to be sensitive, and you have to be smart, and just use common sense too. When you're with your child, don't just wander off. I don't know how it happened to me that my son was able to steal something. If your child is next to you in the dressing room, or when you're paying for something, or you're looking around at the different departments or areas, this wouldn't have happened anyway.
Well, I'm going to say, even though, like I said, I can't relate, I'm not, some people, not all, but I'm not talking down on these people like Miss Walsh here, because she literally probably just took her eyes off of him for a second. And you have to remember, we're only human. We are only human. We cannot do everything, be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people, they totally turn their back on their kid and just do stupid stuff. Yeah. But, some others.
Allow them to talk to strangers.
Yeah, others, it's just a slip. Kids move so fast, it's not even funny. So, I'm not sitting here talking down on everybody and acting like I'm better. I'm not. But I'm just saying. Anyways.
Well, thank you, Ky, for that realization.
I already knew that. I was just telling you. Good Lord.
No, because now everyone's aware of how you move with your kid. Like, you're not going to let her out of your sight. I just made a mistake. Okay. It could have been worse though. The worst thing that happened is he stole a hat. And he remembers that. He's 35 years old now. He goes, Mom, I stole a New Kids on the Block hat. Remember that? I said, yeah, but I should have been paying attention, because you shouldn't have an opportunity to do that. Because as soon as I saw you put it on, I should have said, oh, that's cute. We're not going to buy it. Take it off. That's it. But not to where you leave the store. We're walking way down towards the ice cream parlor, or whatever you call it, to get ice cream. And then I realized it. I was wondering why the people were yelling at us.
You're only human and you can't think of everything at the time. But anyway, I didn't finish the story. Right. So, okay, so Otis was, so like I said, he had been partnered with another killer, which was Henry Lee Lucas, and they confessed to doing a bunch of stuff over the years. And Otis was actually in prison for killing someone right after he killed Adam. And when he was in prison, he confessed twice, but he took it back both times. So
we don't even know if he really did it.
I don't know why he did that. Like, yeah, I did it. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. Like,
look,
yeah, is he trying to torture the parents? I don't understand. Yeah. But, Mr. John Walsh just always believed Otis was the one who did it. He wouldn't drop it. He wouldn't think otherwise. He's like, this guy did it. But like I said, and the investigation was botched. They couldn't prove it, this and this. So it was only when Otis was on his deathbed that he turned to his niece and he confessed to her, truly he did it. He killed Adam.
You mean to tell me it was solved? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was solved.
Yeah, it was solved.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah. He actually found out who did this to his son 30 years ago.
Right, but this guy
it's crazy.
This guy put
so
John
sad.
Walsh and his wife through a bunch of stuff, just not confessing until he was dying. So,
and his son had been dead there, and imagine, what is it? I want to say,
they didn't say when Otis died, but yeah, this happened in 81.
No,
I know, but I'm saying this happened in 81, and I don't know when Otis died, but I mean, a whole show was made out of it because he wanted to help other missing children. So
yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is the parents could never rest easy,
right? Because they didn't know
they wake
who
up
did it, why it was happening. And the thing is, I don't think Otis ever said why.
Okay, well, let me ask you a really weird question, because I thought about this a couple of weeks ago, and I said, oh my God. So to, in the position that you're at in your life today, the environment that you're in, God forbid something like this happened to you, you were missing, and then no one could find you or what have you. Are there people in your life that you believe would actually look for you and not give up? Because I wonder this about myself.
And, okay, so look for me, yes, and not give up. A smaller amount of yes.
That's so cute. A smaller amount of, I love it.
Yeah, I know at first my friends and my entire family, which my entire family, they're large and they're very important.
Yeah.
They're in very important positions and they will. However, if they can't find me, it's going to dwindle down. People are going to be like, well, you just have to live with it because people are dicks.
Yeah.
So it'll just be like my mom, my brothers, my stepdad,
just
my
come
daughter.
Down to the
Exactly. It'll
years.
be just those people who keep looking.
Yeah. Do you think they'd have a vigil every year?
I don't know.
Okay, got it. Okay, so for me, I don't believe it would last very long. I feel like my mom would probably give up because she's a senior and she's already sick. You know that. My stepdad, what?
And you have a son. You think your son is going to be like, well, she led a good life.
No, I just don't. I mean, I see him having gumption about some things, but I just don't see him carrying that out to where past say a couple of years. Wow. I just really don't see it. No. Because he's just busy. He's doing all these other things, and I just don't believe it. Maybe my grandkids might as they get older, or if they're older at the time.
I could tell you my daughter will. I fully believe my daughter will. Yeah.
I fully believe that too. Yeah, I do.
My daughter will make it her life's mission.
Yes. Okay, you know what? It's funny you said that, because that's what I would do if it were my mom, because I know myself. You got to think about personalities. So your daughter's personality, right? So I would do the same thing for my mom, but my mom wouldn't do it for me because she's too tired, exhausted, and just sick or in pain. So she's not going to do that, or my stepdad. But in my son, it's just he'll cry
what about
your
himself, sibling, though?
Among himself. My brother, but he's sick too. To me, my brother is kind of sick and kind of weak, and he's older, but he's really crazy about me. He lives in Chicago. His name's Levon. I have other brothers that we don't know. My father, Papa was a Rolling Stone. That's how I met Levon, because Papa was a Rolling Stone. Now imagine this. My brother that I'm talking about, guys, I didn't meet him until 20 years ago, and we're 10 years apart. And it was just a fluke. He was looking for me. And he really, really loves me, but he had kind of like one of those fast lives. You know what I mean by a fast life?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you do a whole lot of fast things. Okay, so he had 3 strokes since I've known him in 20 years,
Wow.
3. And so it's like, so now it's difficult for him to really, like his speech and all that, but he's crazy about his sister Char. So I don't feel like he would have it in him. Maybe his wife, he just married his wife less than a month ago. They've been together for 5 or 6 years. She's wonderful. I feel like she would probably be the one to look for me. He would probably just be sad constantly, like my son, like, oh my God, I loved her. She's such an amazing mom, that kind of thing. It's just interesting to think about that. You know, it's just something that came to me a couple weeks ago. And I was like, my sister's husband, this is crazy. Not my sister, but my sister's husband, my brother-in-law, he would probably put a whole lot of like a budget or money and a campaign into it, looking for me all over the place for like about maybe 10 years. I think he would do that. Because when my brother-in-law was younger, he's in his mid-60s, his sister, who somehow favors me, I don't know how, but that's what they always say. She was very, very beautiful. She lived in New York City, and they found her in a trash can at 22 years old. And that was one of the connections I had with him. Because he would say, you remind me so much of my sister Audra. You're so pretty and you look like her. You just have her mannerisms and I love her so much. And he looked for 20 years to figure out what happened to her. So that's why I feel like he would be the one to keep my legend going. Isn't that crazy? And then also maybe, I guess maybe my niece I always tell you about. She probably would too.
Well, see,
but you know what? It's just
you have people.
I'm sorry. What was that?
You have people who look for you.
But I didn't think of that though, because when this came to me a couple of weeks ago, I just figured they would just do the funeral, move on, and everybody's busy and going with their lives.
Sad.
That's literally what I thought. But now, but now that we're kind of going through the particulars, it's like we have more support, a lot of us, than we probably think we do. You know, isn't that something? Because look at all the people that we talk about. Look at all the cases. They probably didn't think they had any support, but at least we're supporting them, Ky. Would you agree? If no one else supports these people, we find these stories and we do bring them back alive. We give a life and breath to the victims, and we shun the killers. You know, we shun the people that did this to you. I'm sorry if you don't have anyone to look out for you, your legend, and to uplift you, or, you know, or anything, but we do try to do that, and I feel like that's a good thing. You know, I really do.
Yeah, so on that note, we're gonna wrap this up. So if you like this episode with all the rambling and going off topic and twists and turns of the Deathbed Confessions and the horrendous confessions that we just had, in which I couldn't keep a straight face in terms of I would probably smother someone to death while they're dying.
Oh, God. She really said that. If
somebody told you they had raped a 5-year-old until they committed suicide, you would just professionally hand them a glass of water? I would try and drown them in that glass of water.
No, I already told you. I would do some things that would get me taken off the board.
I would totally be fired from that job. I'll be fine. I'll be like, fine, I'll go to another hospital.
No, Ky. When you're a doctor or a nurse, you can lose your license.
I'm fine. I'll become a teacher.
So that's what I would do. That's what I know, right? That's why I said taken off the board or lose a license. I would be that girl. That's me. Okay? Because I'm going to be that angry and that inappropriate.
Anyways.
Because some of those stories were just, I wouldn't be able to keep myself calm on that.
A lot of those stories were horrible. But if you like this episode and you just liked, again, like I said, our ramblings, and you like the surprises of these Deathbed Confessions, please go to Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, say whatever you want in the description. Say Char talks a lot. Say Ky talks weird. I don't know what's wrong with my speech today.
Yeah, Ky does talk weird. I will definitely vouch for that.
Yeah, screw you.
It's okay. You guys can say it because I'm with you.
Might I add, you. Anyways, if you want to say that in the description, feel free just as you're saying it, leave 5 stars. What it does is helps brings us up in the chart so everybody could find us easier. Don't forget to visit us on Patreon and become a subscriber for crazy bonus episodes and to hear your name said at the end of the show. Depending upon your subscription, you become a producer. Also, go ahead and follow us over at YouTube so you don't miss the surprises we have coming up for you. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm going to go through our social media. So follow us on social media at facebook.com/relationship crime, Instagram at Love Murder Podcast, our new Facebook fan group at Love and Murder fan page. Don't forget, we have your true crime merch. Whatever you want with your true crime merch, we have it. Go to loveandmurder.threadless.com and you will find it there. And there are actually sales going on right now. And there's another sale coming up with free shipping. So definitely go loveandmurder.threadless.com. Go there. And an easy way that you can support us for free is just simply hit share on this episode and share it to your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, your friend's email. Share it to their text message, put the phone dead in their face and hit play, whatever you want to do. That'll be an easy way to share this episode and get your friends talking about the craziness that is Love and Murder. Next week, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled episode where it's going to be relationship crime that we're going to cover. Thank you so much for joining us in this about to be 90-minute show, even though our shows are supposed to only be 60 minutes. And as usual, we want to remind y'all, all love and no murder, y'all.
Goodbye.
Peace.
Have a great week.